We're back. We're back again. Good old Arizona.
All right, everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the ZHP Garage, and welcome to Phoenix, Arizona, in all its glory. Phoenix, Arizona.
There it is, the whole place.
All of Phoenix right here. This is all you got to see. So what do we got, man? What do we got?
We got an Impala. Same Impala we looked at before.
So if you haven't seen the video of us working on this Impala before, you can check it out right here. No, right there, right there. We got a message from the guy that owns the Impala saying that he's having issues with his tranny. It's grinding gears when he's trying to go into gear. So we made the drive out here in our crapper van right here, and we're gonna go do some work. So we're gonna go check it out, see what's going on. We just had some breakfast over yonder here, and how was breakfast?
It was good. Service was slow, food was good.
So we're gonna take a drive over to where the car is right now. We're gonna check it out, see what's going on, and go from there. So if you guys aren't already subscribed, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the like button if you enjoy the content around here on the channel and if you want to see more. So I was gonna show us driving over, but it's boring. You don't want to see us driving. So we're gonna talk with the owner of the car right now, see what the heck's going on first, and we're gonna go from there.
So we're back here with the 63 Impala here that we worked on before with the overheating issue. We have a little problem with it shifting now. So we're gonna go take it for a drive. We're gonna see what's going on with it. A lot of car, no power steering. Yeah, loose column.
Kind of have to do an 18-point turn right now.
Going into first is quiet. It's right there when you go to shift to second. So it might not be engaging or disengaging all the way. Right there, that's what he's talking about. You get it in second. There it goes. The shifter out of adjustment, got a couple little minors. I think it's an adjustment issue.
What's happening here?
Well, it's got nothing to do with the clutch. It's got a tranny issue. See what happens when I go to second. Seems like something's loose.
Trainy's not sounding very happy right now.
Clutch isn't very happy either. Got chatter in clutch. See, when you're don't even go to shift, you just let off the gas. Not very happy. Let's go jack it up. Look underneath it, see what's going on. See if we can get an idea of what's going on with this noise. I put a rag on the jack. Make sure it don't scratch up the frame. I'm gonna jack up the back of it too. I want the whole car off the ground so I can spin the drive line and check and see what's going on with that noise. Being that the back of the car is so low, I'm gonna have to go in on the front side and get on the pumpkin of the rear end. I'm just gonna get to the point where the car is pretty much level, and I'm gonna put some jack stands on the rear end. I'm gonna leave the jack there just for backup. So I got my light, pry bar, in case I need to move anything. I'll climb in here and see what's going on with this. Can you do me a favor? Reach in there and pop it out of gear. It's in first gear right now, so just pull the shifter back. So I found one problem right here. It's not causing the noise, but it's got this is a two-piece drive line in here because it goes through the X frame. It's supposed to have two bolts in the center carrier, and you can see if you move the drive line that the whole carrier is flexing in there. So we need to get another bolt in there. But I think the noise, everything looks pretty good on the tranny. I think the noise is going to be on the first gear, first gears in the tranny. So I have to talk to the owner of this thing. We might have to pull the transmission out, take it apart, see what's going on inside of it. But it does have a horrible chatter when you let the clutch out. So either this pressure plate or the flywheel is warped, it got some heat to it, or the clutch, something got heat to it and got it warped. So it looks like it might need a clutch anyways. I don't know if you can tell over here. Whoever put it together, they put a hose clamp and the wrong spring to hold the linkage together, and the spring broke. You see this hose clamp right here. This is what started the whole issue, is they left them stranded. You can see the spring broke, and this spring is what holds the shift fork into the shift linkage here. So he got this universal one that's a little bit longer to eliminate the hose clamp, and it goes coast to coast, which is the way it's supposed to be from the factory. It's not supposed to have this hose clamp on here, obviously. So after he got it back together with this spring on here, got the linkage back together, that's when he noticed the noise. It looks like the training's gonna have to be taken out and disassembled. So we're gonna have to talk to him and see if he's wanting to do that right now. The exhaust is missing a bolt. And the hanger right here, his exhaust is all over the place. They don't have it welded in the pipes, these have these clamps, so it looks like it's sagged down. So we need to see about putting a bolt in here for him. Got the stock pumpkin style rear end in it. U-joints feel good. Feels good back here. It's got a brake line leaking here. I don't know if you can tell on that. It looks like it's a stock. You move it and there's brake fluid just leaking out of this compression fitting right here. So that needs to be addressed. There's definitely a couple other issues besides the one that he had us come out for. So we're gonna have to check that out to make sure that he's safe driving his car. All pretty much stock back here. It looks like all stock trailing arms and everything. Rear end looks like it's got a little bit of a leak at this carrier gasket, but not a big deal. This brake line's a little more important. I'm gonna go talk to the owner of the car and see what he thinks and what he wants to do to this thing. We're back. We came back the next day. We talked to the owner. He decided to go with, we're gonna replace the flywheel and the clutch. We're just gonna do, it's just like a stock replacement, nothing fancy. Small block Chevy flywheel. I think this one is actually for a Corvette style. Replacement clutch. It comes with the throwout bearing, pilot, clutch and pressure plate. And it also has the alignment tool. So now I'm going to pull out what's in here now. It looks like there's a center force clutch and flywheel, what's in this car now. So it might be a little, it's a little different setup. It's got a step on the flywheel, but that's why we got the clutch that matches the flywheel. So we're changing the whole assembly. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out now. We're changing the flywheel because of the chatter. It's not necessarily the noise, we think. I think it's more in the tranny, but once we get the tranny out, we're gonna take the side plate off of it and see what's going on with that. So right now I'm gonna go underneath. I'm gonna pull the driveline and the tranny and the clutch and everything out of it and show you what it looks like after I get it out. So I already pulled the console, the cover off. It's only these four screws. And I pulled the shifter off because I'm gonna leave, or the shifter handle, I should say. Just has the 2 bolts that go through here on top of the shifter. I want to try to leave the whole shifter part and the linkage and everything on the tranny. So once I get it out, I can get a look at it and get it adjusted. I think second gear is a little bit out of adjustment. That gives me enough room. I can drop it, once I take the cross member out, I can drop the tranny down below, get it out of the hole, out of the floor, and slide it all off together. So now I'm going to go underneath, pull the drive line, and then the 4 bolts for the tranny, and get it pulled out. All right, so you can see on the time lapse, we got everything out. Here it is, all of its glory. We got the tranny, clutch pressure plate, flywheel. So you can see from the flywheel that it got super hot, got all these hot spots on it. And this here, a little crazy, it's like pitting. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if it's a bad casting in the flywheel material or what. Got the clutch out here, it looks like a performance clutch. Pressure plate got super hot also. I don't know if it's just too much clutch and just got to slip it more to get the car moving. But then we found on the pilot bearing, so it's in the crankshaft this way, so this is in the crank, the clutch disc, and you can see that it was chewing on it. And if you look close, you can see like all it's metallic from the metal, from the copper. And then you can see in the dust and the inspection how it's got all this copper going on from the bushing. So I'll show you in a second what I think caused that. So we took the shift fork, the little inspection cover off the transmission here. We wanted to check the tranny, make sure everything is all good with that. And you can see that you shift it, and nothing hits, and these synchros are radiused, so there's no way that they're going to hit. They thought maybe, the customer thought that that when it was shifted, it might be hitting the other gear, but they're radiused, and there's no way. So everything looks good in the tranny. So we're gonna put that back together. The fluid looked a little dirty, so we're gonna put some fresh fluid in it. Let me show you what's going on with this thing, what I found, what's chewing up the pilot. Come over here and have a look, Ander. All right, so we're underneath the car here. I found a little issue with the crankshaft in here. The thrust bearings got a little excessive play in it. So I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera. So I pried the crank all the way forward. So you might be able to hear it a little bit better. But when I go to kick the crank back, see, here we go, bring it back forward. Just got a little thud. The crankshaft's got some play in the thrust, a little excessive play. So I think what the noise is happening is it has a mini starter on here, so the starter gear doesn't get sucked into the with the Bendix like a full-size starter does. So what I think what's happening is with the ring gear of the flywheel, when the crank pushes forward and flexes all the way, that I think the ring gear is hitting the starter gear, and that's what's causing that high pitch noise that you heard on the beginning of the video. So this engine has way too much thrust movement anyways, because you're only supposed to have like 3 to 4 thousandths of thrust in it, and being that I can physically see it move and hear it clunk front to back, it needs to be fixed either way. So what we're going to do is we're going to obviously put the tranny back in it for now. He can't deal with the engine at this point, so we'll probably be coming back, and he's talking about putting a crate engine in it, so we're probably going to change it out. We're not going to rebuild this one. He's going to get a long block. So we'll put the tranny back in it now with the new clutch and flywheel, and then we'll take it for a drive and see if it still has a noise. More likely it's going to. I think the thrust on the engine is the whole issue. He's pretty upset because I guess his engine's just been rebuilt like a couple years ago, and he hasn't driven it that much, so that's what we found. So we'll put it back together right now, and we'll go for a drive. So this is the rod for the clutch pedal. This is where it goes to the linkage for on the frame, on the pedal, where it pivots from the block to the frame, pushes on here, and this is where it pushes on the shift fork. You can see here, this is where they had the hose clamp and this like carburetor return spring that broke. I think what caused the whole issue is this is normally splined, or threaded I should say. And it looks like it stripped out all the threads, and then it put too much tension on this rusted out spring, and it wound up breaking the end, and then this fell off and you got stranded. So that's what started the whole deal. So we're taking this little hose clamp and return spring looking thing off of there, and we're going to take this off, and it has 2 nuts on here. We're just going to take this one nut off, and then we'll put this in between. This thing does have some wear to it. He's going to have to get it, but the parts, aren't really available. So we're just going to put this in here like so. And then we have a nut on each side of it, and then we'll put it in the car and we'll get it adjusted where it needs to be, and we'll tighten it down with a nut on each side. So that'll keep it from blowing out and moving. And then we got the other spring we're just going to put back on it that I showed you at the beginning. So we'll put it back together so he's able to drive the car, and then we'll obviously take care of his clutch chatter from overheating it, and then we'll put the fresh fluid in here so the tranny will be shifting good and everything, and then he'll have to address the engine down the road.
So now that we got that all done in the time lapse, we got the car back on the ground right here, off the jack stands. So we are going to finish up right now, take it for a spin, see how it does, if it does any better, because we saw the issue on the engine that we showed earlier in the video. So let's do it right now.
So the last thing we have to do on this thing is the shifter and the console. So the shifter just has the 2 bolts, and it has a retaining plate that it bolts to, pinches it in here. We may not have our dual quad positive tracted 409, but we got a 4-speed though. We're almost there. So this didn't have any screws holding down this little cover. It was just sitting there. So we're just gonna put it back. And we have our little console cover here. Careful. It sits there. Put the 4 screws in it. And there we go. Hop on in. Let's go for a ride. Check it out. We'll wait for the trash truck. Hold please.
I was told the trash truck was coming to pick the master mechanic up.
Already.
So how's it feeling so far?
Clutch is working good. It's right in the gear. Kind of hard to move the Titanic around with no power steering. We got it going though. We got this power steering right here.
So it seemed like it went into second with no noise.
Yeah. The decel in first is the big test. Once we get a little heat, I want to get that fluid. Put new fluid in the tranny. I think that's got anything to do with it. See what happens on a decel here. Still making the noise there. Doesn't seem to do it when we shift. really good, just has that noise still. Pretty sure that thrust bearing, thrust in the engine there's got something to do with that. Pretty sure that's where the noise is coming from. See if we can get to go in a second.
Alright.
Maybe it's just not as violent. I don't know. Doesn't have that shutter anymore. Starting out, so fix that. Well, you didn't notice it going from first to second though, did you?
Notice what?
The noise?
No, before?
After the fact.
Oh wait, hold on. No, it was going from first to seconds when it made the noise. Is it because it...
Yeah, but now it's not doing that, is it? It's only making the noise when let's look at.
Because before it was when you push the clutch in first.
It was when you did a decel really hard first is when it would make the noise.
Yeah, before you push the clutch in first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but now it doesn't do it.
And now it doesn't do it then, it just does it if you don't have a hard decel. I'm gonna have the owner of the car drive and see what he thinks. Alright, here, so we're done with the 63 for now. The owner drove it, it's better, but obviously with the what we found with the engine, it's not 100%, so he's gonna have to wait. We're gonna probably come back another time, deal with that, but it's back together. It's running, there's no more chatter. Starting out, no more noise shifting, it just has on a decel, it has a noise. So, but we gotta fix the engine, the thrust in that first. Make sure you go down, hit the subscribe. If you like the video, hit like, share, comment, all that good stuff. We'll see you next time.